How the people are doing. So today's video, not exactly the same as usual, right? Because today we're gonna take a look at the iPhone's ProRes lock capabilities, and that specifically, I'm not even bothered by anything else that it can do. I only care about the ProRes lock because, as the title would indicate for this video, the iPhone has actually been used for shooting a movie. I don't remember the exact name of the movie, but I do know that Cillian Murphy is starring in it. You know, the Oppenheimer, Peaky Blinders star, like, you know, Oscar winner, absolute legend, that guy. So I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be a good movie, and the fact that it is shot on the iPhone, and more than likely, most definitely, it was shot with ProRes lock. That's the whole point. Well then, that gives you a lot of hope, because as you can tell, with all the videos that I've taken here, all of these, by the way, are at GITEX 2024. It happened here in Dubai, and I was actually invited by ULEFONE to go there, check out what they have to offer. We'll get to that part in a moment, but I did take all of these videos with the iPhone. That's it, nothing else was used. And it looks and works like a bloody charm. There's no two ways about it. But there is a problem that I faced. So it's a twofold problem, that's the best way to put it, because the way it works on the iPhone is that I have the base model iPhone 16 Pro, which is 128 gigs. The issue with that is you can only shoot 1080p 30 ProRes lock. That's it. That's the limit. Technically speaking, the iPhone is capable of 4K 120 ProRes lock. That is absolute unadulterated insanity, but you can't really use it unless you have a genuinely good amount of storage, because even with double that of what I've got, like 256 gigs, I think the storage gets eaten up in like 6 or 7 minutes, something like that. So that's all you can get with 4K 120. That's just how much storage ProRes lock eats up. Also speaks volumes about just how good the quality is. But then of course, if you're like me, you may have ended up buying the base level iPhone, the 16 Pro that is, and you also want to shoot 4K 30, 60, 120 ProRes. Well, there is a workaround. You can buy a storage device, which is exactly what I did. I think mine has 400 Mbps, something like that, and you can shoot up to 4K 120, no problem. So you can basically use that. And it's a bit of a hassle initially, but you do get used to it, so that's one of the good things, I guess. But it is significantly more cost effective if you do it this way. It's a bit more hassle, sure, but upgrading storage on the iPhone when you're buying it, that is way worse. We all know about that. So having explained that whole situation, here's the deal. Here's the issue that I've had. You may have noticed I'm talking about GITEX 2024, but I don't really have a proper intro shot available for you. Well, guess what? I shot it. It was a beautiful shot. It was kind of around the time of sunset, you know. The GITEX 2024 logo was up front and the sun was just peeking up from behind. It looked stunning, to say the least. I took a low angle shot that too, and just it bothers me so much. I don't even know why it happened. That is probably why I'm so bloody annoyed by this, because it's the files, the two initial files, the first two files that I have for 4K 60 ProRes that I took, they're corrupted. I don't know why they're corrupted. I don't know how they somehow managed to be the only two files that are corrupted amongst all the other videos that I've taken, but they are. And it makes no sense whatsoever. I'm telling you, it really is just grade A, unadulterated bull, because there's really no two ways about this. It bothers me. Those were some of the best shots that I'd taken, and I can't even show them to you because they're corrupted. Anyways, I guess technical issues do happen. I just had my fair share of it, that's all. However, the good thing about the iPhone is that it looks stunning. This is by far the best log video that I've used, period. I'm talking even the log video from this camera right there, the Sony a7 III. I get it, it's kind of old, but still, it's still a fantastic camera. Even this one's log video doesn't quite compare to the sheer quality that you have. I'm telling you, a lot of this footage was underexposed because I didn't want to blow out highlights, so I was a little overcompensatory about that, and it handled like a champ. I had to raise the exposure by 1.5 to 2 stops on a lot of these videos, and if you know anything about color grading or handling videos, editing videos even, well then you would know that raising a video's exposure, that to video shot on a smartphone, by 2 stops, that's going to cause problems. It's going to cause noise, it's going to cause grain, and it's going to cause artifacting and color banding. None of that is present in the final result, as you can tell. Even after I raised it by 2 stops, I didn't see any of that. It is somehow able to preserve so much detail and so much information, data, that it has no problems at all. That's what surprised me so much. I unintentionally managed to stress test it to the absolute limits, and it just didn't even care. That's how crazy it is. And look, I get it. It almost sounds like I'm fangirling over this, but it's really not. I'm just being honest. Any issue that I've had, I've already told you about that, and honestly, that corrupted file thing was the only problem I've had thus far. However, there is one little thing that Apple could improve upon. You see, when you're taking ProRes, you're taking it because you want to color grade it in post. You want to manually handle all of that stuff, the exposure, the balance, the contrast, the colors, everything. So the ideal way to shoot would be to lock the exposure and the white balance, but sometimes, maybe not always, but sometimes you do want to use the autofocus. Autofocus is very good on the iPhone, surprise, surprise, but you cannot use autofocus without auto exposure. You can set the exposure to bias towards less, like minus 0.3 or plus 0.7, whatever you want, but you cannot use autofocus without auto exposure. And that's really the issue here. You see, it is such a professionally oriented feature, the ProRes log. The fact that you don't really have the accompanying features or the subsidiary features for it, it can cause problems, and it really impedes the entire flow of the operation whenever you're trying to shoot with this. That, I think, is the biggest issue on ProRes log, because you need complete and absolute control when you're using ProRes log. That's the whole point behind it. That's the only reason anyone would use it. No one's going to take ProRes log and then just post it on social media. That's not the way it works. And so I'm just going to conclude with 2 things here, because ProRes log, it is by far the best log profile that we have had. And I mean, the iPhone 15s, they were already fantastic, but this iPhone 16 takes it to a whole new level, and there's no 2 ways about that. Secondly, in case you're interested in the way I color graded it, the way I basically balance the entire thing out, and so on and so forth, if that is something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. If I get enough comments about that, I'll try and showcase it. Now, of course, please bear in mind that I don't really have any proper way to screen record the color grading process. I'll try to make it work, try to show it off as best as I can. But look, here's the thing. I don't really think a lot of people might be interested in the nitty-gritties of the color grading, but in case you are, I'm open for a video, that's all. And so with that said, I'm going to leave you guys with the new ULEFONE showcase. They're going to talk about the new flagship, and the entire thing, once again, shot completely and entirely on the iPhone. It is of course a fantastic showcase for ProRes log and the microphone quality too. I also graded the microphones, so just so you know, it's not exactly the box standard, the same thing, whatever comes out of the box. Obviously, I made it sound as best as I possibly could, given just how loud the background was. Anywho, I also gotta thank ULEFONE for this, because I would not have gone to GITEX had they not invited me. So, huge thanks to them, and well, check out the rugged phones. It's quite something. So I'm at ULEFONE, and well, I'll apologize first and foremost. You see, my lav mic, it kind of crapped the bed, and I don't really have any particular good way of recording the audio except for the iPhone. But let's face it, the iPhone's recording is supposed to be good, so this would be the perfect buddy just for it. So here we go. What are exactly rugged phones about? I've never used rugged phones before in my entire life, so just explain them to me as if I'm a complete novice.
Okay, rugged phones is like waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof. So many like outdoor activities and construction site workers and also drivers and logistics, this kind of industry areas, they would prefer to use a unbreakable device, so they will choose the rugged devices.
Now, this is definitely rugged because it's built like a tank.
Yeah.
So
this one you are holding now is our flagship.
Oh, it's a
this
flagship.
year,
Nice, nice.
We will launch it in 1 month. This model number
Oh,
is
fantastic.
number 28 Ultra. It comes with the highest chipset now from MediaTek.
I see.
Dimensity 9300 plus chipset.
9300. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's nice. So performance shouldn't be an issue at the very least,
Yeah,
right?
it's the top model now.
Right, that's good.
Also, it
And,
comes with a thermal camera and night vision camera.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that would be helpful because if you're stuck camping somewhere, it's good to see something, right?
Also, you can see first the main screen and
Yeah,
there's
sure.
another sub screen on the back. So
Oh, that's a screen. Can you show it off?
both are AMOLED screen. The back screen, I think, because it's a demo unit now, so the back
Oh,
screen
I see.
is not working properly now. But when it launched, it will be ready to show. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, MediaTek. I've used MediaTek before. They, at one point, way back in the day, they used to be not that good, but now they've improved a lot.
Yeah.
So I can see why you're using that. But what about the cameras? You see, I've always been very interested in cameras. Now, I understand that rugged phones are not supposed to have the best cameras in the world, but how would it be?
This
What
camera
would be your opinion
is
on
the
it?
this device main camera is the 50 megapixels Sony IMX 989. It's
989.
very
I believe
good
I've used that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe I've heard of that specific model before. I can't exactly recall which phone had it because I've used so many of them at this point. But yeah.
It's
So
similar
it looks nice.
big brands like Honor, Oppo, Vivo, yes, Xiaomi.
Yeah, I've definitely used it
Samsung,
then.
yeah.
I've definitely used it then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this looks good. So, how about this? I've also noticed some of those phones over there. Those are a little bit more normal, I guess, everyday phones. What are
On
those
this
about?
table, all are rugged phones.
Okay, these are all rugged over here.
On that
see.
table, they have
Okay.
some regular smartphones. So
I see.
we do tablets, smartphones, both rugged and non-rugged.
I see.
You can find
So the non-rugged ones, do they have any specific features that make them a little bit more sturdy than others?
For the non-rugged ones, actually we are focusing on the middle entry levels.
I see,
Not
middle
so top models.
Okay, so the flagship is always going to be rugged.
Right.
I see. Oh, that's nice. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me over here. It's a hell of a place. I've never actually been to any GITEX or anything like that before, so this is a first-time experience and it's incredible.
Thank you for posting this video. Yeah.
Sure. It was my pleasure.